My parents were super rich, but they wanted me to learn how to be strong and independent. So they pretended to lose me when I was little. It was all part of their plan to teach me a lesson. Even finding me again was supposed to be a test. When I was a kid, they made me eat simple food, collect and sell things like bottles and cans, and take care of my grandma, Sarah, who couldn't move. My aunt and uncle, Lisa and Mark, felt sorry for me. They wanted me to come live with them. This made my real parents, John and Mary, really angry. They said, "After everything we've done to teach you, you still want to go live with someone else? Fine, go." Then they took me to the mountains and left me there. They called it thinking time. I ended up getting lost, and an old man found me unconscious and took me to his place. Later, the police were investigating a case and found me. My parents saw me, all banged up, and just sighed. They said I was useless and that they should just have another kid. When I woke up, I decided I was going to show them just how much their tough love plan had affected me. Years later, my Uncle Mark got his paycheck and asked me and my cousin, "What do you girls want to eat?" We were at a busy restaurant and I ordered a lot of food. Two people nearby, who I knew were my real parents, were shocked. They were saying things like, "I sent her here to learn and she's living so comfortably. How are they raising her? If you're poor, you shouldn't act rich." It was them, my real parents. They had lost me on purpose to make me tougher, so I could be a good heir to their wealth. For over 5 years, they had been watching me secretly while I lived with Lisa and Mark. I acted like I didn't know, and I kept asking Lisa to buy me new clothes and toys. After dinner, Lisa laughed and said she'd spoil me. My real parents got even more upset. My real dad, John, confronted Lisa. "How can you spoil her like this?" Lisa was confused and asked, "Who are you? I can spoil my niece however I want." My real mom, Mary, snapped, "Aren't you going to teach her anything? She's so young and already living in luxury. How will she learn to be responsible?" They told her not to buy me treats or let me skip chores. My real dad was furious, saying, "She's too young to not suffer. She needs to learn responsibility." Relying on the fact that I looked young and innocent, I punched them and yelled, "I'll eat whatever I want. It's none of your business." They were shocked that I even knew how to fight and stumbled away. Back at home, Lisa whispered to Mark, "Let's keep on spoiling her or we'll lose our business. It's time to put the plan into action. Lily can't stay here forever." We went home, and there were my real parents, pretending to be poor strangers. They were crying and clinging to me. "Lily, we finally found you. We're your real parents, remember?" I gave a small smile. The trap was set. In my previous life, I pretended that living comfortably with Lisa and Mark made my real parents think their plan had failed. So they came to get me back when I was 7, an age where I could remember things. I refused to go with them, which was understandable for a kid my age. But they were disappointed and decided to make things even harder for me. They made me go through a lot, knowingly giving me small portions of food, making me cut grass, take care of cows, sell recyclables, and look after my sick grandma, Sarah. I was laughed at and bullied by kids at school, but I still wanted to succeed, to repay Lisa and Mark and make my real parents proud. One time, while I was collecting bottles, Lisa saw me. I used to be so lively, but now I was thin and looked worn out. Lisa cried, "I shouldn't have left you. Come home with me." Lisa and Mark weren't rich, and Lisa's health wasn't great, but they were really kind. I didn't want to be a burden to them. Raising a child is about more than just food. It's about teaching them and helping them grow, so I said no. But Lisa and Mark didn't give up. One time, I fell asleep in class and got beaten at home. They wondered why, since they were providing for me. I explained tearfully that I had been cutting grass late the night before. Lisa burst in and said, "If you can't provide for her, I will." My real parents locked me in a dark room, accusing me of wanting to go back to my other life because they were poor. I shook my head, crying, "No, I didn't." My mom was disappointed and moaned, "You're heartless." My dad was furious and kicked me. "After all our training, you want to go live with someone else? Go then. It's like we never had you." They threw me into the woods to reflect. I ended up trapped in a cellar by an old man. I wanted to scream, "I'm your daughter. We're not enemies." But now, I was playing along, using Lisa's kindness to walk right into this trap. Looking at my real parents, I forced out some tears. I remember, "Mom, Dad, you finally found me." All the pieces fit, and Lisa and Mark had contacted the police. Meanwhile, my real parents were worried that Lisa and Mark might ask for money. So they pulled out $200, all wrinkled and old, from their sock and said, "Thank you for taking care of Lily. We don't have much, but please take this as a small thank you." Lisa and Mark didn't want money. They had raised me out of love. They said, "Use it to buy Lily snacks. She loves cookies." My real parents took me away on a bullock cart. I used to be scared of cows and cried when I had to ride in the cart. Mom asked, "Do you resent us for not having a car? Is this not good enough? Did they teach you to compare things?" I said no, but they still made me get on. Now I acted excited. "Wow, a bullock! I love it!" My parents looked at each other, relieved. A child shouldn't dislike their parents for being poor. Mom and Dad were stunned. They didn't know people could be so poor these days. Dad cracked the whip, saying, "We bought this just to pick up Lily. Can't have people laughing at us." Mom, as always, agreed. "Yeah, Lily, see how much your dad and Mom love you." Lisa and Mark gave some money to my biological parents. The couple hesitated but accepted it. Lisa and Mark, with tears in their eyes, pleaded, "Please treat her well." I didn't say anything. I just bowed deeply to Lisa and Mark 3 times. "I'll pay them back once I get everything that's mine. This time, I'll make my real parents pay for all the hardships I've been through." "Honey, is Lily asleep? This fabric is so uncomfortable. I can't stand wearing it," my dad whispered. They thought I was sleeping, finally showing their true colors. Mom looked at the money Lisa had given them with disgust. "Just $1,000? Give it to the driver." Luckily, we dressed poor, so they didn't try to take advantage of us. Dad glanced over. "With all that savings, just $1,000 for Lily? Lily is the daughter of the richest man. It's so stingy." Mom said, "Yeah, if it weren't to toughen up Lily, I wouldn't want her raised in a family like that. It's laughable. What have you even contributed?" Passing a small shop, Mom asked, "Should we buy Lily some cookies?" Dad said, "Let Lily decide. We've been training her all this time to be independent, haven't we?" So, Mom shook me awake. Dad asked me, "Lily, this $200 is our half-year's living expenses. Grandma Sarah's sick. Can you bear to spend it all on cookies for yourself?" What could I say? Of course I understood and shook my head. "Dad, Mom, you've worked so hard, I won't eat any." My biological parents hugged and cried. Tough love education works. A cow carriage left town for the mountains. There was a long way to go to the rundown house they were struggling to find. Dad found someone to act as a driver. "Lily, go ahead. Mom and Dad need to stay in town to earn money for you. We can't go with you." In my previous life, it took me a whole day to walk home. My feet bled. I wasn't used to that kind of hardship at Lisa and Mark's house, and I didn't feel any connection to my biological parents. Seeing the broken-down hut, I thought the world was ending and cried my heart out. Meanwhile, they were riding comfortably up the mountain in a fancy car, already waiting for me at home. Seeing me cry, they scolded me. Making a fuss after just 50 kilometers? So spoiled. How can I leave the company to her? Exactly. A business that big can't be left in her hands. Then Dad slapped me. "No crying. You have to endure hardship to become successful. We're only doing this for your own good, understand? No dinner if you keep crying." Well, I can't let myself suffer alone. I blinked innocently. "Since it's our first time home, I want to walk with you." Oops. Mom glanced at the long mountain road. Dad tried to guilt trip me. "If we leave today, who will earn money?" I pulled out $50 I had saved. "Take it." Both were stunned. "Where did you get money?" "Selling scrap," I replied. Dad, hearing that, got angry. "How dare they let you pick scraps? I need to settle this with them." Mom was furious. "Unbelievable, daring to mistreat Lily. I'm furious." Treat me well, it's wrong. Treat me poorly, it's also wrong. Turns out you make all the rules. So hard to please, but from now on, I'll make the rules. I started crying loudly, my sobs heartbreaking. Mom, Dad, I finally got to meet you, and you won't even do this one thing for me. Pathetic little me, caught in my own game. My spoiled parents reluctantly followed me up the mountain. Every now and then, I acted pitiful and asked to be carried. Once we got home, they were exhausted, like zombies. Before Mom could even lie down, I shook her arm. Mom, let's pick flowers. Dad collapsed on the floor. I jumped into his arms. Dad, I heard there are wild rabbits in the hills. Why don't we hunt some? Their lips trembled and their eyes watered. How do you have so much energy? When I died in my past life, I was so young. Enduring this hardship for so many years, 50 kilometers? I could do 100, and I still wouldn't be tired. I pleaded, stay a while longer. Play with me, my good parents. Their faces were pale, words stuck in their throats. Water, water. I happily fetched water, pouring it into their mouths. Drink, then we can play. This sweet pain, enjoy it. The real fun is yet to come. Honey, it seems our tough love education paid off, Dad whispered later that night. I opened my eyes, catching them eating steak outside. The smell drifted in. I swallowed. Dinner had been wild greens and preserved meat. I only had a tiny serving of rice. Having walked 50 kilometers, I was hungry. Mom savored the meal. Hey, tonight Lily gave you all her rice. Did you think she ate enough? If she's not full, she must endure. Endless desire isn't good for business. We're teaching her. Honey, you're amazing. Lily will certainly thank us later. Dad laughed proudly. Of course. You couldn't find better parents, educating with such care. Let's bring my mom over tomorrow, start teaching Lily about family responsibilities. I smirked. How much does inheriting billions hurt? That I deserve this? The next day, Grandma Sarah from the fancy nursing home joined our tough life. Dad said, we'll be out making money. You stay and care for Grandma. Mom said, it's your duty. Be obedient. Listen to Grandma. Of course, don't neglect your studies. Paralyzed in bed, Grandma Sarah fake cried, Lily, it's my fault. Sorry for the trouble. In my past life, after school, I'd rush back to cook, then hurry to class. On days off, I picked wild greens, fed cattle, collected scrap, and cared for her. In the evening, I wiped her body and served her tea, along with the bedpan. The night I got kicked out by Dad, Grandma Sarah shook her head and sighed. If it weren't for Ben's death, you wouldn't have a share in the inheritance. We treat her like this, she's definitely going to hold a grudge. When she inherits the company, we won't get any benefit from it. Better no heir than an ungrateful one. Let her go. Ben was my older brother. Having been pampered by a dozen nannies all his life, he couldn't handle a cold and passed away. Mom had me through IVF at the age of 37. Grandma Sarah talked about how IVF kids were called pampered babies. So when I was just 2, they randomly chose a house to leave me at with foster parents. But that wasn't a reason to throw me out at 15. This lifetime, someone like me insists on taking over the company and turning your world upside down. To show my filial piety, I gave the only small second bedroom to Grandma Sarah. I squeezed into a room with my parents at night to make sure there was no chance for them to enjoy things alone. I also had to prepare dinner before they got back to improve my hands-on skills. How's anyone supposed to focus on studying like this, unless I was some kind of genius? Thinking about it, I tossed the wild mushrooms into a pan and stirred them up quickly before putting them on the table. Under the dim yellow light, Dad piled all the food into my bowl. Lily has been taking care of Grandma. You eat. Mom and Dad won't have any. Mom added, see, Dad cares about you so much. He saves all the goodies for you to eat. Aren't you going to thank him? Of course. I should treat my own daughter the best. Why is it that I'm cooking while standing on a stool and you two enjoy the best outside and come back to train me to endure hardship? A family, of course, should share the hard times too. Without another word, I divided the food. You should eat more too. The 3 of them held their chopsticks, hesitating. Eat. Why aren't you eating? I sniffed. Do you dislike my cooking? A few laughed awkwardly. No, not at all. That night, the whole family got food poisoning, except for me. Mom, Dad, and Grandma Sarah were rushed to the hospital for stomach pumping. When Dad woke up, he was furious. If you can't cook, then don't. Do you know how much money I lose being in the hospital? No. How much time is wasted? Mom, her face pale, agreed. Your dad is right. What I mean is, your grandma is too old for this kind of suffering. Grandma Sarah sighed. How can you not even make a meal? I choked back tears. I'm sorry. It's my fault. But you've raised me so lovingly. I just wanted to take good care of you, to repay that kindness. I pounded my chest and promised next time I'll make sure the meal is cooked properly so you can eat without worries. Voices next door chimed in. Is this kid too sensible or what? If I had a kid like that, I'd wake up laughing in my sleep. What's the point of such parents having kids? If the kid does everything, what do they do exactly? If you're poor, don't have kids, expecting the child to carry the burden? Is this that legendary suffering? Dad, unwilling to be criticized, got even angrier. What do you know? We're not poor, we're educating her. Don't speak ignorantly. Doctor, we want to be discharged now. Silence. There's no saving them. It's just the child's struggle here. Back home, I deeply reflected upon myself. Dad, Mom, Grandma, I'm sorry. It's my fault making you suffer. I'm young and clumsy, but I still care for them. Mom and Dad didn't have much to say, so I took the opportunity. Mom, could you come home earlier at noon to teach me how to cook? She wasn't much of a cook herself. Having to dash back from the villa at noon to oversee my cooking while I picked wild vegetables, fetched water, and fed chickens, she couldn't just stand by and watch. Naturally, she ended up helping out. By the end of the month, Mom lost a good amount of weight. She also got tanned, with dark spots showing up. With no room to improve her diet, she whimpered from hunger at night. I can't live like this anymore. Who is this training for, her or me? Do you know how long it's been since I've had a beauty treatment or body care? Dad said, Honey, I know you've had a hard time. We haven't succeeded yet. We need to keep trying. Hang in there, Grandma. You're not as tough as Lily. Can't handle even this much hardship? Mom wept to the point of hiccups. To help Grandma get outside and enjoy some fresh air, I built a wheelchair out of wood. Of course, it wasn't done too well. Grandma barely sat down when it fell apart with a snap. Oh, it hurts so much. The commotion startled the birds in the forest, and they flew away. Her back gave out again. On the way to the hospital with Grandma, I tearfully said, Grandma, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. At night, she groaned to Mom and Dad, I can't keep living like this. Eating wild vegetables every day is one thing, but now my back's even worse. If this continues, can my old bones survive? Might as well die. Dad and Mom said, We know it's hard for you. We haven't succeeded yet. We need to keep trying. Hang in there, Mom. You're not as robust as Lily, falling and breaking bones. You should exercise more. Grandma shook with anger. Ungrateful children. Oh, my fate. Why so bitter? At night, Dad pretended he'd been lugging cement all day elsewhere, utterly exhausted. Lily, Dad is working so hard, living frugally, and it's all for you. You must be sensible and repay us when you grow up. Dad, I'll repay you now, I said. So I presented my precious gift. Dad, you don't have to walk to town anymore. I saved up to get you a bicycle. Huh? I pretended not to see his reaction and went on. It's summer vacation now. I'll go with you to town tomorrow. Lots of scrap out there. I want to contribute too. What? The next day, Dad pedaled hard in front, sweat soaking his shirt. He panted like a bull. I clapped from behind. Dad, you're amazing. Go, go. Less than a week into it, Dad's legs couldn't stay steady, trembling uncontrollably. At night, the three of them cried their hearts out in the dark. When will this miserable life end? Unable to bear it anymore, Dad slammed the table. I'm announcing it. After 6 years of Lily's hard training, it's finally paid off and it's over. I'm heading back to live in a fancy mansion. Beauty treatments, bags, clothes, shoes, supplements. The hard days are finally over. Square dancing, mahjong, old manly fun. The next morning, my parents asked me to pack my few belongings. Lily, your dad has something to tell you, and please don't get too worked up. We won 100,000 in the lottery, and to make it easier for you to go to school, we're moving to town today." I wasn't surprised at all. I cheered happily. "Dad, you're amazing!" As if I didn't know what they were planning. Since I'm still young, coming into sudden wealth might make me get really lazy. Winning that 10,000 lottery, they came up with this excuse. After packing, they carried a snakeskin bag. It was thin and saggy, clearly holding nothing. I pointed at the chipped bowls, moldy chopsticks, and torn quilts. "Aren't we taking these?" They all looked awkward, and Dad stiffly said, "We have money now. We'll buy new ones in town." "No way!" I shook my head firmly. "You taught me money is hard to earn. We can't waste it." And so our family went down the mountain, huffing and puffing with our bulky snakeskin bag. In town, it was an apartment with stairs and only 2 bedrooms. Dad seriously announced, "Lily, you're the most important member of the family now, so you get to assign the bedrooms." Still testing me? All right then. Grandma is our treasured elder, so she should have the master bedroom. Mom and Dad have raised me, so they take the other bedroom. As for me, I turned to look at the couch in the living room. I'll sleep here and I can keep an eye on Grandma at night. Plus, it'll be easy to get up early and make breakfast for everyone. They all hugged me with tears in their eyes. "Lily, you're so considerate. Truly the talent we've nurtured." I grinned wide. Life in town was still tight and busy. Respect, responsibility, and studying were the top priorities, but I didn't care. I just wanted to grow up fast. In my previous life, I died young, at an age when I loved learning. I didn't forget any knowledge, and starting over would just make it stronger. So, when I entered junior high, I skipped grades, one after another. Dad pretended we won $1 million lottery, and the whole family moved to the city to pay for my education. My birth parents worked long hours in an electronics factory. The work wore down their backs, but their faces remained youthful and bright. Of course, I didn't expose them. At 18, I could finally take the college entrance exam. My birth parents were ecstatic. "Lily, you're a genius. You're such a pride to our family. All these years of hard work were worth it." I quietly smiled. "Mom, Dad, I'm going to study hard and bring you more pride." All right, all right." I knew that if I weren't understanding and smart, they'd discard me at any moment. For now, I couldn't confront them. As my birth parents hoped, I performed well. They chose the school and the major for me. Like a puppet on strings, I didn't question or doubt. How did my farmer parents know so much? Even though I'm obedient, they still won't lift this facade of life. I wonder how much suffering it will take for me to break free from this hardship plan. Thinking of this, I packed their things. "Come to the city with me. A family should be together. Don't worry, I've rented a house and found jobs for you at an electronics factory." They couldn't find a way to argue against my desire for a seemingly harmonious family life. All they could manage was a dry laugh. "Lily, you really think things through." The three of us with wheelchair-bound Grandma went on a journey again. The house was near the school, in a basement without sunlight, damp and musty. Spiders and roaches were everywhere. My parents hesitated to even step forward. "Lily, is this the place you rented?" Tears welled up in my eyes. "It's not like the house in the city, but it's the best I could find. You don't mind, right?" Sigh, it's my fault for not working hard enough to earn enough to repay you. They exchanged glances. How could we? It's Lily's kind gesture. I called the electronics factory manager. "With a month before school starts, I'll work with my parents to earn some tuition money." Dad got anxious. "No way! I still have some money saved." Mom chimed in. "You're a college student. How can you work in a factory?" I seriously said, "Because I want you to live in a big house. Don't try to talk me out of it. I'm set on this job." Grandma clapped excitedly. "Wonderful! Really showing we cared for you well." My parents secretly glared at Grandma. Under my supervision, the three of us spent a month twisting screws. Now, my parents visibly aged. When school started and I returned to classes, they moved from the basement back to a big mansion. 1 year, 2 years. By the time I'm ready for a serious relationship, the hardship plan was still ongoing. This day, I approached the fattest, most failing boy in class. "Hey, Bob." He got so excited, his cheeks flushed. "Lily, are you talking to me?" I smiled. Want to grab some food together at my place? I deliberately left a few clues. Waking up in the middle of the night, I heard them plotting outside my door. Is Lily dating someone? No way, we must stop it. If she dates, it better be someone we choose. Absolutely. Who knows what kind of person they are? Could they be worthy of our heir? Tomorrow, I'm tracking down this punk. The next day, I met Bob for lunch again. Bob sure lived up to being all the girls' least favorite. Just after 2 meals, he started talking about marriage, second kids, kids taking his last name. Your education is high, so you probably won't ask for a big dowry, right? Are you thinking of grad school? I wouldn't recommend it since my mom is a modern woman and can't look after our kids. Seeing my displeased face, he added, if you really want to, you can study while taking care of our kids. By the way, do your parents have health insurance? Can they help us financially later on? Nowadays, guys and girls are equal, so you should cover half of the house, huh? In the middle of the conversation, my folks showed up with some people. Mom, Dad, what are you doing here? My mom couldn't even look at Bob, and she asked me disappointed, is this your boyfriend? My dad started yelling, who do you think you are? Our family heir isn't for just anyone. You think you can marry my daughter? Not a chance in the world. Beat him up. A bunch of guys in suits started to move in to fight. I jumped in quickly. Stop! You can't hit him. You'll have to hit me first. What would I do if you kill him? My mom's lips quivered. What are you talking about? Then I said that line that seems to shock everyone. You don't understand him. Mom blew up. Foolish, it's you who don't understand us. Honey, tell her the truth. Dad adjusted his suit. Lily, you're the heir of our company. Your mom and I spent years planning and giving you a tough upbringing to mold you into a perfect heir. I was stunned for a few seconds, shaking my head. No, 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 you must be lying. We've been poor for so long. How could we be the richest? It hit me then. Could this be a ploy to break us up? Mom, Dad, you really don't get him. He may be a bit chubby and not the best looking, but he treats me well. Plus, he's promised me $100,000 in dowry. I'm dropping out and getting married to him tomorrow. My real parents were so mad they nearly coughed up blood. You're selling yourself for 100 grand? I bit my lip and said firmly, yes, I've chosen him. Then I turned to leave. Behind me, my parents exchanged looks, realizing something huge just happened. Honey, we've screwed up. Has she taken our lessons too seriously? Did we mess up? Dad angrily replied, we haven't messed anything up. Maybe this is her true self. If she can sell herself for 100 grand today, she can betray us and the company for $1 million tomorrow. Instead of doubting our education, maybe question the kids' choices. Mom was speechless. Looks like we failed in raising her again. Oh dear, is our family doomed? If only we'd frozen eggs and sperm back then, we wouldn't be in such a predicament. Sigh. What a disappointment after all our hard work. Then my mom glanced at my phone. A message popped up. Is it worth it for family? Mom paused, expertly typed the phone's password, and opened my chat history. It was a message I'd sent a friend. Grandma's sick and needs $100,000 for surgery. I want to help since I'm grown now. Mom seemed struck by lightning. Honey, look. We misunderstood Lily. Quick, we must find her. I was crouched by the roadside sobbing dramatically. Mom scooped me up in a hug. Lily, you're doing all this for Grandma's surgery because of the dowry. I was flustered. You know everything? Tears streamed down my face as I confessed sadly. I'm just a student. There's nothing I can do. I just want Grandma to live. You've done enough raising me. I can't bring more trouble. They exchanged looks again, feeling guilty and hurt. Their hearts felt pierced. Lily, we were wrong to blame you, and we're sorry, but we didn't lie to you. You're our heir, and Grandma's not sick. We lied then because we worried that after seeing the world at university, your head would turn and you'd lose focus. So we pushed family responsibility on you, so you'd always feel pressured. Thing is, how about we take you home, so you can see for yourself how life is for the wealthy? On the day we moved from the tiny, dark basement to a villa, it was sunny and bright. Dad wore a suit, and Mom had on designer clothes. Grandma, supposedly paralyzed, stood up from her chair, dabbing her eyes with a handkerchief. Lily, we finally got you back home. Such an ironic wait, yet I had to smile and say how wonderful it was. They toured me around. Lily, do you remember this place? When you were little, you were such a good kid, never cried or fussed. All the nannies said you were so easygoing. Honestly, I didn't. This house felt strange, cold. What I remembered the most was the bitterness from when they left me alone, out in the snowy cold. Abandoned by adults, I was cold, hungry, and sobbing heart-wrenchingly. My 5-year-old adoptive sister, Jane, took my hand and led me to our adoptive parents. Meanwhile, my biological parents watched from nearby, waiting to see who destiny would choose. Who would be the best caretakers for me? Are their parents so cruel as to deliberately lose their child? Yes. Looking at my real parents, I said earnestly, money doesn't matter. What matters is that we can be together as a family like before. Dad, Mom, Grandma, thank you for raising me. I love you all. As tears flowed, they looked at me with pride as if I were a prized exhibit. Lily, our child, you were worth all the effort. I moved from the dorm to a villa near school. I got a driver and 4 caretakers. I became someone everybody envied with lots of cash. It's nice being rich. I could hand a wad of cash to a homeless guy without a second thought. I could even tolerate stupid comments with a wide heart. Like now, as Dad pointed out a chubby guy, this is the good man we picked for you, also our business partner. You marrying him will take the company to the next level. Mom chimed in. I've met the boy's mom. He's stoutly built and honest. You're a match made in heaven. You'll date for now, and once you graduate and take over the company, we'll have the engagement ceremony. When their investment comes through, you'll use it to grow the company. Lily, you make us proud. We believe in you. I knew him, a playboy, but I said nothing. I nodded dutifully. I will. I won't let you down. Sophomore year, I worked as a grunt in the company. Countless sleepless nights I studied it. I watched it shine and decline in my parents' hands. Now it's stable. I know it like I know myself. So I understand the company inside and out. I'm impressive enough to all, everyone from a low-level employee to the CEO. It took me 6 years. This year, my grandma fell seriously ill and was in the intensive care room several times. I held her hand tightly, begging her to wake up and look at me one more time. Grandma, don't leave me. Everyone said, Lily is such a sensible child. Her upbringing was amazing. But no, I wanted her to see with her own eyes how the company would crumble under my hand. At age 29, Dad finally announced his retirement. He officially announced at the shareholders' meeting that I would succeed him. He patted my shoulder. Lily, don't let me down. I hope you won't disappoint us in the future. I didn't disappoint them. I did great and got along well with Chubby. My biological parents bragged to everyone that this was a result of their tough love and hard training. Lily wouldn't be who she is today without us as her parents. We are very honored, and we hope some school will invite us to speak. That night, Mom pulled out a tablet. Lily, pick a few wedding dresses. Do you like any of them? Just then, a pop-up entertainment news alert appeared. Chubby was spotted vacationing with some online influencer in a foreign country. The internet was buzzing. Another influencer vacation? What number is this? Isn't there insider info about an engagement tomorrow? Can he make it back in time? I nonchalantly swiped away, pointing at a dress. That one. Mom smiled approvingly. My daughter, you're becoming more like your father every day. You're doing it right. Men settle down once they're married. Besides, it's all about interests. The engagement party went ahead as planned the next day. The company's veterans, partners, and family friends came. They came to witness the great outcome of my birth parents' devoted nurture. Unfortunately, I was absent. I was in the audience, watching my adoptive sister, Jane, in a wedding dress, tears in her eyes, walking to the man. Bride, do you take him as your husband? My sister said, yes, and then tossed the bouquet to me. She hugged me. Little treasure, I didn't expect you to come. Mom and Dad are happy to see you too. Little treasure. That long-lost name made tears stream down my face. Sister, you must be happy. My adoptive parents, Lisa and Mark, cautiously toasted me. In the early years, they'd occasionally sneak to my school to see me. Once they learned my true identity, they stopped coming. Over the years, I've become indifferent and aloof, focused only on revenge. But seeing the gray hairs on Lisa and Mark, it tugged at my heartstrings. They had a daughter and were poor, yet they took me in. After returning to my biological parents, I slipped half of my earnings and bonuses, hidden in their door cracks. They saved it up, and when I got into college, gave it back, doubled. Such kindness, such feelings, 1,000 times better than my biological parents. When leaving, I tucked a check in a red envelope. Good deeds should be rewarded sometime, right? At 4 p.m., I turned on my phone. Calls and texts flooded in. I answered. Dad was furious. Lily, do you know what you messed up? Now the other side is very angry. They left. You get over here quickly to apologize. No matter what it takes, you need to make them happy again. I see, I asked. Why didn't you ask where I was or why I didn't pick up the call? He scoffed. I don't need your explanation. Get back here now. Mom shook me hard. Lily, where on earth did you go? You're driving us crazy. Grandma, sitting in a wheelchair, didn't even look at me. You actually came back? I thought you died somewhere out there. Someone so irresponsible isn't fit to be in our family. I casually remarked, I went to a wedding. It was a choice between my sister and my engagement. Naturally, I chose her. After all, you only get married once. What? Where'd this sister come from? Dad was enraged, ready to slap me, but I blocked him. He was fuming. On such an important day, you went to an unrelated wedding? Don't you see that your engagement is more important than anything? I sat down and poured a glass of water. Anyway, benefits gained through marriage aren't all that stable, so I politely declined on your behalf. I pulled out my phone and started typing away. I don't like you at all. My parents don't like you either. They even despise your greasy looks and attitude. Without the money, none of us would look your way. Feel free to avenge me. Come at us if you dare. We're waiting for you. Lily, have you lost it? Withdraw it now. After realizing he couldn't, Dad angrily smashed his phone to bits. I didn't mind. I pulled out another phone and handed them a contract. Oh, by the way, the government wants to buy out the company. The price is right, and I secretly signed it. Planning to announce the good news at a press conference tomorrow. What? You sold the company? Grandma screamed till she was hoarse. It's your grandfather's blood and sweat. How could you sell it, you ungrateful brat? I'll beat you to death. She rushed over but stumbled, taking a nasty fall. What kind of monster do we have in our family, you animal? Dad's eyes looked like they'd pop out. Such a big deal. Why did I not know about this? I laughed. Because I've had you. The company folks are scared of me. So, to avoid offending me, they naturally kept you in the dark. What's wrong with becoming a state-owned enterprise? The company's been running for years. It's time for a new strategic direction. This is huge. I must be the first in the family's history. What a load of crap, my dad snapped, grabbing my neck. Lily, why'd you do it? We put in so much effort raising you. Don't you owe us? I clenched my fists and spat out, word by word, raising me. You threw me away when I was 2. Is that what you call raising? Training me to endure hardship? Making me eat crap and sell junk? And take care of my paralyzed grandma when I wasn't even 10 years old? Thanks a lot for that. No, really, I should thank you for giving me the motivation to get back at you. This long overdue payback took me a whole 20 years. Hope you're enjoying it. I stayed calm, making their noise seem even louder. Honestly, I wish they had memories of their past lives. That way they could see that everything is karma. Dad pointed at my nose, shouting, We did it for your own good. If you don't go through hardship, how would you understand the value of money? Without us, you wouldn't be who you are today. You're so ungrateful. Grandma, with slurred speech, cursed, You tricked us all. So you were just acting when you messed with this old lady? Mom broke down in tears. Lily, how could you be so heartless? How could I have birthed such a cruel child? We should have just left you to die somewhere from the start. Dad, seething with rage, his eyes bloodshot. Yeah, we should have let you die. If I could go back, I'd never pick you up. You'd live in hardship forever. Seeing the murderous glint in his eyes, I kicked him in the gut. Dad let go of me, stumbled back and fell. Grandma yelled, You dare hit your father? You'll be struck by lightning. Mom pointed and called me a beast. No creativity there. I couldn't care less. It's a crucial time now. I didn't want any scandals. Otherwise, I might have charged you with attempted murder by now. Calm down and don't get too upset. It's bad for your health. I poured a glass of water over their heads. Dad, you're the head of the household, but when it comes to the company, it's my call now. Wait. From now on, there's no conglomerate, just a state-owned enterprise. So this house, I'm not coming back, and you can't go to the company either. You. Dad was thrilled and passed out. Before he closed his eyes, he praised me for doing a fantastic job. Lily, you're cursed. Their sharp cries pierced the sky. I tightened my coat and walked away without looking back. This incident shocked my dad into a heart attack. After his rescue, he ended up back in the ICU. Mom and Grandma were relieved to see him wake up, but as soon as I came to visit, he glared at me through the glass, his heartbeat soaring as if to say, Lily, why aren't you the one who's dead? Grandma poked me with her cane. Get out now! Mom, furious, shoved me out. You have no right to visit him. I whispered, hospital. Keep it down. Besides, who's paying the medical bills if not me? The company's been acquired. No dividends for you means no money. Still hiring a driver and maid? Going for Grandma's imported meds? Dad's $20,000 daily expenses? Coming from his free-spending wife selling her purses? Grandma nearly fainted from anger. You... Mom, clutching her chest, wishing she were dead. With their pale faces, I coldly said, without anything, just sit tight. I prefer watching someone linger between pain and despair over death. Just like I once did in that dark cellar, waiting hopelessly for Mom and Dad to rescue me. I once believed parents wouldn't abandon their daughter. So, that night, I cut off all expenses and turned off my phone, disappeared blissfully. Goodbye. Do whatever you want in the future, because my future has nothing to do with you.